there's no expectation. And any new girl he meets is kind of just like fun and flirty and party and come out with us and threesome, foursomes. This all comes down to setting the right expectation with the girls that you're dating. Okay. If you're a guy that wants to be seeing a lot of women and you want other girls to know about that, you're going to piss off a couple girls in the process. But the other part of it is, are you the kind of guy that can get away with something like that? When girls meet you and they interact with you and they see you and your lifestyle and they get to know you, are you the kind of guy that it makes sense that has women in his life? The way you act, the way you talk to the girl, the way you treat the girl, the way you date or courtship that girl, the expectations that you set in the beginning of the dating and the relationships. Does all of that make sense? Is all of that aligned with a guy that gets with women? Because I could tell you, if you act like a fucking beta normal chump dude, not even chump dude, but let's just say you act like a monogamous, super serial dater. I'm going to be your boyfriend. We're going to go on 3 dates and it's only you and you're the only one, baby. If you're acting like that guy to some extent, and you know you're building up a relationship with this girl and then out of nowhere you just start posting another girl on your IG, I promise you that that girl is going to get pissed off. I promise. However, if you're on the other side of the spectrum where it's like the moment you meet that girl, she sees that there's other girls in your life, you know, it's very fun, it's very, maybe it's very sexual too, and it's flirty, but it's also somewhat casual. And from the moment she meets you, maybe she goes on your Instagram and there's already girls up on your story, right? Or there's girls in your pictures. And when she met you, there was girls around, or you talked about other girls initially, and then she slept with you. There's a way different expectation going into that. That girl, she doesn't really have a reason to get pissed off if you post some other girl, because she came into that life and it made sense that you already were that dude. As a result of that, there's a certain expectation set. I just presented to you guys 2 different scenarios, right? In one scenario, it's okay for the girl. And in another scenario, it's not okay for the girl. Like imagine, I'll just give you extreme examples. Let's say in one scenario, the girl meets a guy. He's a middle school math teacher, right? He meets her, he gets her number. He asks her on a date. They go on a date. They go on several dates. They're just building up. And the whole time he's very formal. And it was like, so what are you looking for in a relationship? And, oh, wow, I really like you. And, you know, blah, 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 texting every day. And it's probably most of you guys. And there's nothing wrong with that either, by the way, but that's just one instance. What's the other extreme? The prime example of this is like a Dan Bilzerian, right? Like obviously that's a crazy example of it, but like that's the other side of the spectrum, is a guy who has women in his life that is out having fun with women and he posts women and there's no expectation. And any new girl he meets is kind of just like fun and flirty and party and come out with us and threesome, foursomes, you know what I'm saying? So like they're 2 way different scenarios. And I'm not saying you need to be either of these. That's the spectrum, right? I just showed you guys like the tail end of each side of the spectrum. But if you want to be that guy, which I would say most guys, they actually, being Dan Bilzerian is just unrealistic. And I think there's a lot of guys who don't want to be this dude, but this guy is extremely unrealistic. So they want to be somewhere in this like area, right? Is what most dudes want to be, right? So if you want to be that guy who's like, well, I want to have a couple women in my life and I want to have women around and I want to be able to post girls without other girls getting pissed off and stuff. It really boils down to, what is your lifestyle? What is your look, your vibe, your career? What is the total package that you are presenting to this girl, and does it make sense that you would have women in your life? Because if it doesn't, every girl you meet is going to get pissed off. You need to get very good at being able to lay down the right expectation to the girl without being like a dickhead about it. The moment you see the girl, you don't need to say, hey, just so you know, I'm seeing a lot of women. I'm a fuckboy and I have no plan on seriously dating you. You don't need to go that extreme with it. However, you also don't want to be this guy who's like, I'm your boyfriend. I can't wait to be your boyfriend. Will you be my girlfriend? 5 dates and now we're going steady. Okay. So there's a balance to it. There's an art to it. It's everything from the moment she meets you. She's kind of like trying to categorize you. Okay. So the more that you can be on the other side of the spectrum, the more it's going to be in your favor. And yeah, you probably will lose certain women that way. And again, there's an art to the way you present yourself and the way you present your lifestyle, your communication, your look, your vibe, and the way you bring that girl into your life. Okay, there's a lot of different elements that go into it, but essentially you need to be able to analyze this thing to determine what is the expectation that you're presenting to the girl when she first meets you and she comes into your world. What is that expectation that you're presenting to her? Because ultimately that is going to dictate the expectation, the foundation for a potential relationship, or whatever she imagines there being with you. Obviously, to pull off a party boy, a dude that has a lot of women in his life, and get the girl to accept it, it's going to be a little bit more challenging. Keep that in mind, dude. What side of the spectrum are you on? And what is the expectation that you're laying down with the girl from the moment she meets you? Do you spend hours and hours on YouTube watching pickup and dating content, but yet you're still not getting the results you feel like you deserve? I mean, that's exactly how I was. I spent 9 months watching YouTube content obsessively without ever making a single approach, without ever talking to a girl. And the messed up part of it was I genuinely thought I was getting better while I was watching that content. I would watch a new video, I would study, I would learn something, and in my mind, I thought I was getting better. And this process continued over months and months and months. The reality, I never talked to a single girl during that time. And when I finally went out, I had watched so much content that I was so overwhelmed in my brain that I couldn't even open. 9 months wasted studying content to take zero action. Because the reality is, it's not about the content you study. It's about the action, the implementation, and the execution that's ultimately going to get you those new reference experiences, that's going to get you that success, that's going to build up that core confidence and help you internalize the content you actually study. Okay, studying without execution is literally meaningless. It's actually going to put you more in your head. Okay, that's literally what happened to me. And it wasn't until I finally hired a mentor and was invested, had some skin in the game, had some accountability, that I finally started taking action. He showed me that step-by-step game plan, that roadmap, as well as what I needed to focus on this week, right now, what I needed to go out and do and execute. And guess what? Once I had all of those pieces and I was actually invested and I had that guidance, I did take that next step. I did push it one step forward, and I did finally start to make some progress, okay? Watching a bunch of content without doing the other side of it is absolutely pointless. And this is exactly why I've come up with my brand new mentorship program, to hold guys accountable, to give them that personalized guidance, as well as that step-by-step game plan for them to focus on what they need to go out to implement and to execute right now. Not watching hours and hours and hours of content to get more in their head. No, none of that, okay? I'm gonna literally show you what you need to do right now just to take that next step. We're gonna hold you accountable. I'm gonna answer any questions that you have along the way, and you're gonna get that personalized coaching that you need from someone that's been through this before, okay? That's the best way to get results in this, and ultimately the most effective, fastest process to really genuinely get good at this, okay? So if you're interested in doing this, click the link below, click the link in the description, and book a free call with us to find out more about how you can work with me, not a member from my team, but actually you'll work with me personally to achieve your goals with women and dating. Click the link below, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace out.